Nintendo's going after Switch emulators again. This time, Ryujinx gets canned, so rest in peace Nintendo Switch emulation, right? Well, not quite. The will of passionate developers is way too high compared to the Nintendo legal team. Thankfully, most emulators are open source, meaning any developers who know what they're doing can access the codes and make their own version in case the original gets canned. But if you are not a developer, the archives of the latest versions are still available for everyone. I recommend checking out Emulation Game Tech Wiki if you want information about emulation for all sorts of hardware. If you want to know which emulator is best for which console, this website is for you. I highly recommend it. There are plenty of useful guides for you to learn about. As for where to get the games, you can rip the legally copied games or sail the seas. A lot of these corporations aren't going to sell them anytime in the near future anyway. I always talked about sailing the seas, but while I do give guides on how to do them occasionally, it's still a personal journey that you have to accomplish on your own. But there is something that I can give. You cannot sail through the digital seas without a map, which is why right now, I am giving you the map to sail the seas. I always recommend our Piracy Mega Thread, but I recommend it as a map. It is a guide for you to find the treasures. Protect yourselves first, and then pick the links that you want. Explore around, see where they take you. If you can't, then our Piracy has other maps for you in the Other Treasures section. Scroll down, and you will find other great maps that are just as good, if not better, than the Mega Thread, with a ton of community support and a search engine so you can get what you want. I know sailing the seas is not for everyone. Some of you prefer buying because it's easier and gives you more features. I get it, but the barrier of entry towards sailing the seas is not as steep as it was back then, especially when we have maps that will guide you to your destinations. Hopefully, you can find what you're looking for. Here's another reason why you all should sail the seas. Cartoon Network decided to remove a lot of shows in their lineup, but these aren't obscure cartoons in the 2010s that they removed. Even if they're not the obscure cartoons in the 2010s, being removed from the network means you can't really find ways to watch them legally anymore. There might be some places that still have them and Blu-ray copies being sold in the secondhand market, but if you can't find them, you have to do one thing: sail the freaking seas. Yes, sailing the seas has a barrier of entry, but if you read guides from something like our Piracy and their other treasures, the barrier of entry is getting lower and lower. Being a responsible consumer saves you money so that you don't get screwed by the big corporations. These corporations are going to keep screwing you over, and even if you don't let them, others will let them. Don't let them screw you. You are smarter than this. You are better than this. Regain control of the media distribution back to you, the rightful customers. Those are some of the piracy hooplas that would have been in the last video, but I do have a couple more unrelated hooplas that are unrelated, but it's still dumb to discuss. This conversation is a reason why TikTok has totally rotten people's brains. This person said that the management of the artist Chappelle Roan has ties to Israel. When someone asked for evidence on this claim, this person said, "Someone else told me about it. I don't really care to look into it. I believe it's the truth, and I don't care." Wow, that's plain old willful ignorance. I guess you really hate Chappelle Roan that much. And this was right after another anti-Israel or anti-Semitic tweet. The sun has a solar flare, and this person said that the sun should stop being Jewish. I literally have no idea where that came from, and I came from a country where being Jewish will give you the weird looks. No wonder why someone has no issues here dressing up as Hitler. I guess the Muslims and Nazis have something in common. Speaking of being an Indonesian, let me show you this insanity. This is an Indonesian webtoon that just popped up. I'm showing you all here to tell you that you don't have to know Bahasa Indonesia to know how idiotic this is. The title of the webtoon is "During Pre-Wedding, I Met My Ex. Buy or Go On." What do you mean? You're already at your pre-wedding. You want to ruin all that for your ex? The title is the least problematic thing. It's the AI-generated monstrosities. Look at this. Who in the right mind thinks that this is a good art to use? He has 2 noses. Check out this angry dude. The art style is not even consistent with the rest of the webtoon. Is it anime or is it semi-realistic? Make up your mind. This one isn't as bad, but it still looks like it's AI generated and there's no consistency between panels. Are these supposed to be the same guys? I can tell you that this guy with abs is way out of place. Seriously, who in the right mind thinks that this is a good idea? Here's another AI hoopla that will make you lose faith in humanity. This image here is clearly AI generated, but the boomers don't believe it. The OP said that the dad couldn't believe it was AI, and that the mom believed it must have been a professional photo where they gave the puppy to the little girl as a prop in the hurricane. Thankfully, we still have people like you, OP, who are more familiar with AI-generated content and how noticeable they are. I see many obvious AI-generated stuff around here too, but there might be a time where AI generation is totally unnoticeable and even experts like us couldn't see it. That time is not now, but it will be in the future. I mean, people can get fooled by text AI these days, unless that person idiotically confessed to the world that they use AI to make their license, like this doofus over here. Seriously, what is wrong with you? Even if using AI feels like an addiction sometimes, it's way less of a horrifying thing to use compared to real-life drugs. Drugs are bad. I can't believe that I have to say that, but some people need basic education like that. Here we have two idiots bragging about how much they love to use drugs. That whole post goes against Twitter X TOS, or for that matter, any social media online. But them doing drugs is not why this is here. It's people defending them doing drugs. People are clutching over doing lines now? Yes, those things are dangerous, addictive, and illegal. The more you consume, the more you are encouraged to commit crimes. That Coke Zero you're drinking every day is killing you faster. Nah, cocaine kills faster. How can you justify anti-drugs? They're dangerous, addictive, and illegal. I thought we're joining the war on drugs on the side of drugs. Except last time I checked, the drug side don't get high on their own supply. Are we mad because it's two trans women? No, it's because it's two people doing drugs. Let's stop doing drugs and lust over fictional characters instead. It's much better, but don't lust over them like this person. This conversation is wild. This user wants another user to stop posting pictures of Goku because they have a friend who ships herself with Goku. Okay, that's a bit weird and horny, but why can't that person just scroll to another server or something? Apparently, the user should stop because she had a mental breakdown every single time she saw Goku with someone else. Jeez, I can't imagine how they would react if they saw Goku's actual wife. Please do everyone a favor and private or delete yourself. Now you're being dishonest. Everyone? You mean you and your friend, right? Because from what I'm seeing, no one else benefits from this other than you two. She thinks Goku hates her and is cheating on her. Not our problem, dude. Maybe she should stop browsing the net and get some help for her breakdown over fictional characters who are already canonically married. That chat was wild. This post makes no sense. Apparently, if you like this, you can kiss my ass. Okay, what is this? The start is the character, who's living in peace, longs for more in life and receives a call to adventure with the potential to fulfill this yearning. And then it ends with the character completing the journey with a newly discovered outlook on life and possibly some new friendships or romance. That's a basic hero's journey plot that 99.9% of fiction has. This is just storytelling. This describes every movie. If that were true, don't you think my post would look quite ridiculous? Yes, your post is quite ridiculous. Why would someone intentionally say something so obviously absurd? Because you want attention. You got it. Have you really stumbled upon the dumbest person alive? Maybe. Notice how the OP didn't explain why they didn't like the hero's journey. All the OP did here is tell people that their criticism is valid without showing why. A classic writing mistake, if you ask me. But don't worry, idiots don't make them, amateurs do. Okay, what's going on with this thread this time? Fiction is not an excuse for abuse. Well, yeah, no one should be saying, yeah, I beat my wife like what happened with that female robot in the Animatrix. Oh, sorry, you mean fictional abuse. Pro-fictionists labeling queer art as abusive and exploitative only reinforces bad stereotypes about LGBT people. Yeah, no one should use fiction as a representation of anything in the real world. Hollywood hacking is different from real-world hacking. Me and my parents were abused, and it's being commodified as fetish content. People also die in fiction, and yet we celebrate deaths all the time. It's not an excuse to censor fictional abuse. If you care about anti-censorship, you would care about the thousands of victims who are silenced by the justice systems. And yet here you are whining about fictional abuse happening to fictional victims. Says a lot about you too, doesn't it? Jeez, let's move on from fictional characters to fictional designs. The VTubing scene is definitely not an easy thing to get into. There's plenty of technical knowledge that you need to know to rig the avatar and design it, and you also have to manage your schedule so that you have a consistent post. I'm not surprised when certain VTubers have managers, even if the manager is doing it for free and might be in it because they really like you, and they're too afraid to say the parts out loud. But seriously though, while I'm not a regular VTuber watcher, I am starting to warm up to them, and I find a couple of their clips occasionally entertaining entertaining. There is undeniably a market for them, and I am happy that those people are entertained with their choice of entertainment. So if you're an indie VTuber making their content completely on their own, keep doing what you're doing. And if you're indie and you have someone that helps you, good luck to you, and please compensate them well with money or possibly love. And finally, let's talk about something normal for once. Jarringly normal, even. This post talks about a completely normal coworker that fascinates the OP. You cannot possibly be normal in the current year. Everyone is taking pills and medications for having anxieties and allergies, but you are perfectly normal and living the dream and are totally fine. Most people offline are like that, and I say offline because most people who are active online do not represent humanity, the same way extroverts don't represent humanity in general. They are loud for sure, but they're only like half of the people of the world. He's also never late to work, doesn't oversleep, no trouble sleeping, no meltdowns, tantrums, outbursts, shutdowns. Jeez, do you have these? Working out every day. That's been something that I have seriously neglected and want to come back to. You know what? This is inspiring me more than I thought it would. So thank you, random employee who is normal and well-adjusted, for inspiring me to be like you and less like unstable, terminally online freaks. And that's all for the video today. Thank you all so much for watching. If you made it to the end, here's a kitty for you. And also huge thanks to all these wonderful sponsors. You are all fantastic. If you want to see your names among these legends, then check out the links below. Just $1 and you'll support this channel a lot. Seriously, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check out my APB Show stream channel, link below. Go subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.